Hey everyone, I'm standing here with a good buddy of mine, Czar Horton. He is a StrongFirst Master Kettlebell Instructor. If you haven't heard of StrongFirst, go check out their website, strongfirst.com, and you'll see a picture of this guy in the front, right? Yeah, that's right.
Still there, they take me down yet.
So Czar came out here this weekend to teach a kettlebell class for us. There's a history behind how I know Czar. We're over here at the clinic right now because he just got adjusted, and
Thank you.
no problem. And I titled this, I don't even know what I titled it. I titled it like what a functional movement expert or a movement expert has to say about MoveNow University curriculum. And the reason is because before we even started this, I was planning on sitting down with Czar and showing him what we've been up to for the last several years in like 5 minutes, but I think we ended up going at like an hour or something because like every video I showed you, I was like, hey, I'll show you like 2 seconds this. You're like, no, I want to watch the whole thing.
Watch it, yeah.
And then we just dug deeper and deeper and deeper. And so I showed Czar the entire curriculum that we're teaching all these other chiropractors. And he thought that was
Incredible.
Yeah, it was incredible.
It was
That's what
really
he said.
great. It was really, really good.
And so I figured I would make a little video here where Czar and I can have a conversation. I got my audio right here. We can have a conversation / I can show him around the clinic, even though I just adjusted him, but we can pretend that he hasn't seen it yet, and I can just kind of show him some more of the details of the clinic 'cause it's been a while since he's been out here.
Yeah.
And we did a minor little remodel. But anyway, just to kind of run it together for you so that it makes sense. Earlier, I went through everything with Czar on like how we take a patient through day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, the exercise area, the exercise orientation, the 12-week transformation, the training that we use for doctors to implement functional movement in 12 weeks into their clinic.
Everything was covered.
Everything was covered. I went through
all instruction, templates, forms. It was really cool.
I showed you how on day 3, before we go through a patient's recommendation plan with them and their financial and all that sort of thing, we have them go in a consultation room and they watch a video, and it's like a series of videos. If you could touch on that real quick.
It was just familiarizing the patient and educating them with what your approach is, how you take the segments, the posture, and then tie it into mobility, and then making them strong so that all the work that they've done holds and they become a healthier person and move better. It was really cool.
So I guess in a nutshell, before we go have a seat and we turn this into a full-blown quick little interview, because there's a cool story to tell behind how Czar and I met and how this whole thing came full circle.
Yeah.
But before we do that, just real quick, or I keep saying real quick, but it's never real quick. Everyone knows that who's watching this. Everyone's like, it's never real quick with TODD. Is what happened is like several years ago, after I realized that the just strict chiropractic approach of just adjusting only wasn't going to really do what I want to do with patients and not really make me fulfilled as a provider, that I was doing all I could. I got into curve correction, chiropractic biophysics, and then from there, I still wanted to address the movement aspect because we were addressing posture, but we weren't looking at people's mobility. We weren't measuring their movement. We weren't like doing anything to like reverse engineer why they were so rigid and stiff and dysfunctional in their movement patterns. And everything I was looking at in a different arena was pointing me towards kettlebells, and in particular this group called StrongFirst. And then come to realize that Czar, who I've known for how many years now?
A long time. Let's see.
How many years was
Easy
it?
10.
I think it's more than 10.
Yeah, more than 10. Probably 12.
Maybe like 12 years. Yeah, way more than 10.
Yeah, way more than 10.
Like 12.
Yeah,
Okay.
12.
So like about 12 years. Back when I met Czar, which we can probably go tell that story here in a second, is that Czar was always telling me about kettlebells and that I should be doing them. And I was into bodybuilding, and I was like, just thinking like whatever this weirdo's doing, and the gyms we'd work out with when we would travel around the country with all the UFC fighters, because he was the strength conditioning guy and I was their team chiropractor, and he would be doing like Turkish get-ups with like a dumbbell in a gym.
That's all they had in the gym.
Yeah, and I'm going, what is he doing? And everyone else was looking at him like, what is that guy doing? Like, he was doing it way before it got cool to do. And then turns out that all the functional movement gurus out there point towards using kettlebells to actually fix this stuff. And so then I turned back to Czar. I'm like, hey, Czar, remember all that time when you told me about this stuff? You were right. Can you come out here and teach us? And so now he's been out here, how many times?
Fourth time.
Fourth time flying out here to Boise, Idaho from Albuquerque, my old stomping grounds. And then Czar also got me and a buddy of mine out here that owns a big functional gym, Marshall. He got us all pumped up to go get our SFG level 1, which is StrongFirst certification.
Yes.
And then in a couple weeks, we're doing SFG level 2.
Level 2.
Which it's awesome stuff. It's fun stuff, and it's a really good like benchmark of like pretty much I feel like doing kettlebell movements is a movement assessment built in because doing a get up, for example, if you can't do a get up properly, it'll tell you, and it'll stop you, and it'll correct you.
I've always said that the kettlebell will tell on you. It'll tell
me.
your asymmetries and your weak links.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And so real quick, we'll say, hi, April. How's it going? April's our billing manager, and she's been here at our clinic almost 4 years. Happy 4-year early anniversary. It's tomorrow, April. And then we got Brandy's our office manager. How's it going, Brandy?
Who is a rock star in the workshop.
She was with us
this weekend.
Swinging kettlebells.
Really good.
Doing her double kettlebell snatches. Yeah. Whoa.
Awesome.
We have it on video. Okay.
Very good.
So here, I'll show you real quick a little walk around tour. I'll flip this around. Okay, so here's our consultation rooms. So that's where our patients go, like when they watch those videos here. I'll show you, like they actually watch them on this TV here. So we put a big old TV in here, and they hang out. And look, see this little notepad? Write your questions down, because in the video we reference the questions. So these are the videos they watch, how it all begins with movement, how we fix movement, what you need to know about posture, etc. And then they crack the door when they're ready. And then we jump in as the doctor, and we go through all their recommendations that we've mapped out for them. We have a second consultation room. We have I don't know if you saw our supplement line. Did you see that?
No, I did not. I was looking. Yeah,
Look at that.
I was looking at them.
Move Well Lifestyle.
Oh, they're your.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
Right.
Yeah, come on. And then over here, this is where our patients come over here. They sign in on an iPad. We use ChiroTouch. They sign in. They put in their different symptoms and issues for the day, and it goes into our electronic records. And then this is where we remodel the shape of people's spines and get them nice and healthy. This is all the spine remodeling traction. So using chiropractic biophysics methods.
I remember you put me on one of those in Albuquerque.
Yeah, and that's the thing that we're going to go through again is your neck traction unit. Make sure you know how to do that before I take you to the airport. And then in here, my little boy, we got to keep him off the grid so we can't put him on video. How's it going, Grayson? Good. Okay, good. You got to stay in there. I will. At home, I'll put that on another iPad. You got it. We got him playing a game right now, so he'd let us film a video for a couple minutes. This is our x-ray suite in here. So x-ray in here. It's dark, I know. And then over here, this is our new movement area, which actually we downsized from what we had before because we just figured, we realized it wasn't necessary to have the space that we thought we needed, which is also one of the biggest, I think, fears of other chiropractors is thinking that to do functional movement and corrective exercise in their clinic that they have to have tons and tons of room. This room here is it's about 500 square feet. So it's a pretty decent sized room, but we have doctors that are part of our system that have like a 10-foot by 10-foot room, and they start with that and they could scale later, or they just end up like that and then they teach patients what they can do and then they get them going with home care. And so that's the setup. So we got a bunch of kettlebells here. It's not high-tech stuff. It doesn't have to be high-tech stuff. We have some Stroop stuff. High concept. It's just good programming is what it is.
High concept. Yeah.
There you go. And then we have this whole belt system of functional movement. Remember I was talking about that, the belt system? And so we have the belts up here. And the whole belt system actually came as a result of trainer Tony said we should do some belt things, and I had just gotten back from Albuquerque from Czar's gym, and Czar has a belt system for his members. See, look at that. What does it say? Fire bells? What's that say?
Black belt. Get some.
You know what's funny? And look at mine says, results matter most, Gonstead Strong. So our clinic's Gonstead Spine and Wellness. All right. So anyway, with that said, let's flip this around. Let's talk movement for a minute. Try to make this interesting for everyone. Say something profound. You got some profound stuff to say, right?
Do I?
I think so.
Let's hope so.
Okay. So this is like a message to all the chiropractors out there that are just wondering about the why behind if they should be doing functional. Here, let's sit down. I'll let you take over here. I'll see if I can ask you some questions. Maybe it's like an interview. So first off, let's see. What's a good question? Okay. Based on what like injuries you've gone through, because, well, we'll start with this. What is it you do besides kettlebell instructor?
Oh, I'm a career firefighter.
How long have you been doing that?
30 years. The last 10 years, I've been a battalion chief.
Yes. 30 years. And then question, so 30 years, how old are you?
52.
What the? And what is your secret to being 52 years old and looking like you're 30?
Kettlebells.
There you go. Kettlebells. All right. And how long have you been doing kettlebells?
Since 2002.
Okay, so way before you would, like now some people still don't know what they are, but back then no one knew what they
It
were.
was very underground movement back then.
Okay.
I met Pavel, my teacher, who brought the whole kettlebell thing to the U.S. I met him in 2000. And it took me a couple of years to get going with the kettlebells. I was doing his powerlifting program, which changed my life, and I was happy with that. And a buddy of mine made such amazing transformation with kettlebells. I was like, oh, I'm in. So, yeah.
Okay, and then I guess something to just say, this is less of a question, more of a statement, is that...
Is less than what?
He was clearing, I was telling Zara before we started, I'm like, just don't clear your throat a bunch. Because we did a video a long time ago, and I edited it, and there was all these throat clearers. So here, I can hold this for a second. All right. I took it away from you. You're not, okay. So a statement I was going to make is that something that we tell our patients, and this is something I think a lot of us as chiropractors would love to be able to say that we tell our patients, is that if you want to get healthy and if you want to get fixed, you have to exercise. Like that's the secret. There's no other magic secret. You have to exercise. But going from point A of where they're at to point B of exercising functionally without pain and doing well and being motivated to do it for a lifetime, there's a lot of little steps in between that A and B, right? And there's a lot of different routes you can go. For sure. And so I was explaining to Czar that a lot of times in the chiropractic arena or the rehab world or anything, there's a lot of passive therapies out there. Like a lot of doctors do passive stuff. Like they'll do some trigger point work. Hey, it's super helpful. Awesome. They might do like electrical stimulation or like different machines or lasers, like all these things that have a therapeutic benefit. However, that's usually where it stops. Or they give a really basic home exercise.
It's kind of pain management for the moment.
It is pain management. Yeah. It's short-term pain management. And then what happens is the patient gets out of pain. So a lot of times us as the doctor thinks they're fixed, right? But then, like, is that person any more functional than they were before they got into that problem to begin with?
Probably not.
Yeah, absolutely not. And probably?
They're not.
They're not. And then what happens is that those people, unfortunately, as they progress in age, they break down at almost the same rate as someone who's never seen a chiropractor or doing anything natural and healthy in their life, because they're missing not just like exercise, but that drive to do something consistently on, if not a daily, a weekly basis. And so ultimately, what a friend and mentor of mine, Dr. Fred DiDomenico, said, he's the guy I showed you that one video on, he does all the coaching for chiropractors on communication, is he said, are you trying to change someone's life, or are you trying to change the way they're living? Which I thought was pretty profound. He said, you could help someone get out of pain, and you could and really be like profound for them for that moment, and they say, you changed my life, but then it's like it fizzles off. Sure. Or are you actually getting the person to live differently and develop new habits? I was showing you like in our 12-week transformation, we take people through how to develop a morning routine, and ritual, and you're like, I need a better morning routine. So I guess with all that said for the audience, since this is stuff that we were talking about earlier.
I think it boils down to consistency, and I think once people start seeing results, they get motivated. They get that internal drive. It takes something like an accident or a chronic bout of pain to get to someone, and then once they start seeing results, I think that if it means something to them, if it matters and it's making that much difference, they're kind of driven to that. Yeah. But we have the responsibility on our end is to be able to show them the path that they can take in little baby steps, because people need some baby steps to get to where they can see stuff and feel stuff. Once they start feeling it and their life actually changes. It's not like a life-changing event, but their daily living, like they can lift their kid or their groceries or their whatever, or play their sport again, or do the things that they were doing before that they're not enjoying anymore. When they can start having that life again, they start getting that drive, and then they're more prone to be consistent. And I think like consistency is the key. Right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, totally. And I think that whole life change has to be something that happens with having good functional movement that's reinforced with exercise. They're building strength. They're actually using their body the way it was intended to be used, which is we're all of us were meant to move.
Well, I thought what I saw was in the video was like you're creating a way for, and it's been that gap between the fitness world and the medical world to have some kind of cross.
He means chiropractic world.
Chiropractic. To have that cross communication and the things to do after.
Yeah.
Because after you feel great, then if you don't take care of it, it's going to go back, and that's just a fact that you go back to where you were. So you've got to change the structure and the strength and all those things. And so you have a really clear map for both sides. That's what I saw, which was very cool. The clinician side on what to do and what to say and how to make it work in the office, but also to educate the patient so they can understand what's going on and they can be educated and take stock in it and have some ownership in it and really want to see those results. That was the cool thing about what I saw today in your videos.
Cool. Yeah. And that it's great to hear your perspective on it from someone who literally travels all over the world and trains people how to move properly and has been involved in this and made it his passion. You know, he's like full-time firefighter, but firefighters work like 48 hours on and then they have like several days off. And so he's in the gym training, traveling, teaching, instructing, writing content, programming. I mean, he's gonna be able to go to the airport right now and he's gonna be doing some programming stuff for an upcoming event, right? Yeah. And something that chiropractors have always been really, really great at is that chiropractors are really great at this concept of like wellness and like lifetime wellness and trying to really educate patients on making changes forever. That's why I got into chiropractic, is because that really resonated with me. But I felt like there was just certain pieces of that we would say that and we'd be like our own cheerleaders and the cheerleaders for our patients, but like we didn't have the substance to actually deliver on the front that I thought was so important was okay, well, that's great that we have people coming in on a regular basis to get their spine checked and adjusted. That's awesome. And maybe we teach them a couple little basic exercises to do to like keep them out of trouble, like a couple of like yoga exercises and some things to keep their neck loose. Great. Better than nothing. But the next step from there, which we have a lot of patients who have actually gotten into this, and it's really exciting, is that to get them into these habits of like doing a daily routine that keeps their body mobile and stable. A lot of our patients have purchased kettlebells either on their own or like I showed you in our process. Right. Sometimes we do for fun is when someone really kicks butt and they're doing awesome, we surprise them and we reward them with a gift of a kettlebell.
Yeah, that's great.
Which is like super low-tech piece of equipment that they can do so much stuff with if they know how to do it properly.
Yeah. It's your best friend if you know what you're doing with it. You're
right.
doing it well, but it can be a train wreck if you're not doing it properly.
Yes. Believe me, there's lots of the train wrecks that we see at like the commercial gyms and someone tried to learn how to do everything on a kettlebell on like a YouTube video without proper instruction. So be very careful. So basically like a little side note, if you're watching this and you had a bad experience with the kettlebells, it's because it was either taught wrong or you did it wrong. Because it's kind of like the saying in chiropractic, never question the principle, only question the application. And it's the same thing I think in kettlebells. Don't question the principle. The principle is truth. It follows how the human body is supposed to move, but question how it's applied, right?
Yeah, that's a great statement.
Thank you. You can use that.
Thank you, I will.
Okay, good.
My takeaway for the weekend.
He's going to say, a dear friend of mine, Dr. Todd out in Meridian, Idaho, he always said. He always said. All right. So anyway, I think that's kind of the main thing I wanted to talk about on this brief little impromptu Facebook Live / podcast replay interview. And so if you want to see what I was showing Czar, if you haven't seen it already, we actually recorded like a 30-minute screen share of our whole program where I walk through all the different modules, kind of like I did with you in about an hour and a half. Right. We do it in 30 minutes. And if you go to demo.movenowu.com, you can see that. So demo.movenowu.com. So check that out. What's going on, buddy boy? What happened? Did you hit the wrong button on the iPad?
It goes on to death now, and it's taped doing it.
Okay, that's what my little boy is talking about. We're going to keep him off the camera because he is Facebook invisible. But we're going to get going now. I'm going to go take Zara to the airport. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Check out the demo. And I hope that in this little interview, if you're someone that's been on the fence that says, hey, I want to do more for my patients, but I'm not really sure what that is, instead of investing in like a $20,000 laser or investing in like a big expensive medical integration, if that's something that just this is something you can do.
If I could say, if somebody's on the fence about it and there's like, well, what if there's all the what ifs are covered, every form, every template, every step of the way, even down to you had the book binding supplier. I mean, everything was covered.
Yep.
If anybody has a question, it's in the series of videos, and the videos are pretty entertaining. He's a pretty entertaining guy when he wants to be. So, I would just say if you're on the fence, just go for it. Go for it. It's going to help your practice, and you're going to be more effective in your long-term results with your people.
And also making an impact in your community, standing out. I mean, here, there's no other clinic that does this.
That was the thing when he got going with this. I said, this is way ahead. You're well ahead of your time. And I've just in the testimonials that I saw on yours, several of your peers would agree that you're ahead of your time and you had a great vision. And I remember that you told me that you actually built those machines in there for the recurve or for the spinal adjustment post aftercare. I thought that was pretty visionary, but to take it to the level that you have, and then I finally got to see, because we've been talking over the years that this is what we're doing now, but I didn't get to see it. And so I got to actually sit down today and look at it from the beginning, from the side that you train the office personnel and the whole process and system there, and then how you educate and what you have in your libraries for the student to learn and for the patient to learn and for the for the clinician to provide. It's 360 degrees. It's all covered. So if you have any doubts, have a little faith and go for it, because it's all there.
Or watch the demo and you can see it all there.
Watch the demo.
Anyway, cool. All right, well, thanks, Zara. I'm going to go take you. What time is it? Time to go. Time to go. Got to the airport. All right, over and out. See you, everyone.